Karma is not just a concept, it's the pulse of the universe. Every action, every thought creates waves that ripple through the fabric of existence. Unlock the hidden patterns shaping your life and embrace the power of spiritual transformation. The Matrix of Karma. Introduction. In the grand weave of existence, we find ourselves amidst a vast network of interconnections, invisible threads that bind us to a greater cosmic design. These connections are not random, but are governed by unseen forces, patterns that shape our lives in ways we often do not comprehend. The truth is, every moment, every thought, every action carries a ripple that resonates far beyond what our eyes can perceive. This is the essence of karma, a force not just of cause and effect, but of unfolding spiritual potential, playing out in ways that reflect our inner world. In exploring this phenomenon, we step into the realm of the unseen, where each decision, each choice echoes through the corridors of time, influencing our paths in ways we have yet to understand. The Matrix of Karma offers us a lens to view the hidden algorithms at play in the universe, governing not just our lives, but the very fabric of reality itself. Far from being a punishment or reward system, karma is a dynamic, flowing force that moves through us, creating ripples of growth, transformation, and spiritual awakening. In understanding this force, we uncover the threads that tie together seemingly unrelated events, giving us the power to perceive a deeper truth about our existence. This audiobook is an invitation to explore the laws of spiritual cause and effect, to decode the intricate patterns that govern our journeys. Here, we challenge our perception of fate and free will, seeking to understand how we, as conscious beings, interact with the cosmic web that holds us all. As you listen, open yourself to the possibility of seeing the world not through the lens of limitation, but through the expansive view of spiritual evolution. Are you ready to unlock the hidden patterns of your existence and embrace the transformative power of karma? If so, type "I am ready" in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to dive deeper into the mysteries of the universe and awaken your spiritual potential. Segment 1. The Hidden Geometry of Karma. Karma operates as a multidimensional force, not confined to the simple cause and effect chain that many people assume. It's a vast and intricate web that spans across many layers of existence, each one vibrating at a different frequency. Imagine it as a vast network of interconnected lines where each event, choice, and action creates ripples that extend far beyond what can be immediately seen or understood. These layers are not isolated from one another, but instead they intersect and overlap, influencing one another in profound ways. The different frequencies that govern these dimensions are not confined to a specific order, but exist in a fluid, dynamic state that constantly evolves. This makes the concept of karma far more complex than simply an accounting of actions and consequences. It involves an intricate dance between the different planes of existence, each one offering a different perspective on the choices we make. At the heart of this multi-dimensional framework lies the architecture of karma, which does not follow a linear progression, but instead unfolds through fractal patterns. Fractals are geometric shapes that repeat themselves at various scales, creating complex forms from the repetition of simple patterns. In the context of karma, this means that events we encounter in life may seem to repeat themselves, but do so in varying degrees of complexity. A small action or choice may appear insignificant in isolation, yet its influence grows as it ripples outward, reflecting the same core patterns in increasingly complex forms. Just as a fractal expands outward endlessly, so does karma unfold across different dimensions, showing us how even the tiniest decisions can carry weight far beyond our understanding. The repetition of these patterns serves to mirror our growth, urging us to examine the deeper lessons they hold. Each karmic event is intricately woven into the fabric of consciousness itself, linking us to a vast network of experiences that appear unrelated on the surface. These connections are not always apparent in our daily lives, and often we only recognize them in retrospect when the true depth of the interaction becomes clear. Every action, every thought, and every choice we make sends ripples through the quantum field of consciousness, creating outcomes that stretch far beyond our immediate surroundings. This is where the concept of divine symmetry plays a crucial role. It suggests that the universe operates with a balance that, while not always visible, is always in motion. Even the smallest action, such as a fleeting thought or a seemingly trivial decision, can shift the cosmic balance in ways that we cannot fully comprehend. This intricate balance doesn't simply affect us in isolation. It has repercussions across different levels of reality, rippling outward and altering the course of events in unseen ways. The influence of karma is not confined to individual lives or to human existence alone. It stretches far beyond the boundaries of personal experience, touching the lives of other sentient beings across the cosmos. This broader perspective challenges us to see our actions as part of a much larger, interconnected web. In this cosmic scheme, every being, no matter how distant or seemingly unrelated, is inextricably linked to the whole. Karma does not stop at the boundaries of one soul or one lifetime. It transcends individual existence, weaving the fates of countless beings together in ways we can only begin to imagine. The patterns created by karma affect the collective, moving through different forms of consciousness that span the universe, shaping the destiny of galaxies, stars, and planets in ways that remain largely invisible to the human eye. The more we understand the hidden geometry of karma, the more we recognize that its scope far exceeds our conventional notions of right and wrong or good and bad. Instead of simply being a moral ledger of actions, karma reveals itself as a force that shapes the very fabric of existence. It moves in waves across dimensions, affecting all levels of life in ways we may never fully grasp. Its complexity invites us to look beyond the surface of our actions, urging us to consider the deeper consequences of the choices we make, even those that seem insignificant in the moment. The architecture of karma asks us to think of life not as a linear progression, but as an ever-expanding network of interrelated events that mirror one another, each holding a deeper meaning and connection. Through this lens, we begin to see that karma operates as both a reflection of our inner world and a force that shapes the outer world around us. The hidden geometry of karma reveals that everything we experience, no matter how trivial or momentous, is part of a larger cosmic pattern that unfolds across different dimensions. Our actions resonate not only within our own lives, but also echo through the very fabric of existence itself, touching all sentient beings. This vast interconnectedness suggests that no event, no matter how small, is ever truly isolated. Every choice, every interaction ripples outward, shifting the cosmic balance in ways that transcend human comprehension. By recognizing the multidimensional nature of karma, we gain a deeper understanding of our place in the universe and the role we play in the larger unfolding of existence. We come to see that our actions, no matter how seemingly insignificant, are part of a grand and intricate design. As we align ourselves with this awareness, we begin to move more consciously through life, aware of the subtle effects our actions have on the broader cosmic web. The hidden geometry of karma challenges us to see beyond the immediate and the tangible, to recognize the deeper forces at play, and to embrace the interconnectedness of all life. Each moment becomes an opportunity to align our actions with the cosmic harmony that underlies existence, knowing that every choice we make is part of a larger unfolding design. In this way, karma becomes not just a force of consequence, but a tool of transformation, inviting us to reflect on our actions and their broader effects. As we become more attuned to the hidden geometry of karma, we develop the ability to navigate its patterns more consciously, creating ripples of positive change that extend far beyond our own lives. Karma, in its infinite complexity, is a constant reminder of the interconnectedness of all things, urging us to live with greater awareness, intention, and reverence for the cosmic web in which we are all woven. Segment 2. Non-locality and karmic imprints. Across space and time, karma is often viewed as a sequence of actions and consequences that unfold in a direct, linear fashion. However, the true nature of karma extends far beyond this simplistic view, operating in a way that transcends both space and time. Karmic imprints, the invisible echoes of our past choices, are not confined to the narrow parameters of the present moment or the immediate surroundings in which they occur. Instead, these imprints stretch across dimensions, extending their reach into different planes of existence and across the boundaries of lifetimes. This broad, non-local nature of karma suggests that our actions, no matter how seemingly insignificant, can ripple through the fabric of reality in ways that are impossible to predict. The impact of a single thought, word, or deed can reverberate through time and space, touching distant regions and future realities in ways that are often hidden from our conscious understanding. As such, karma is not just a personal force confined to the life we know, but a cosmic thread woven into the fabric of existence itself. The concept of non-locality in karma means that its effects are not limited by the boundaries of time or space as we understand them. In traditional views, karma may appear to be tied to the actions and consequences of a particular lifetime, but when viewed through the lens of non-locality, this connection becomes far more expansive. Past actions do not simply result in outcomes in the same lifetime or location. They can unfold in entirely different dimensions of existence, across distant realms, or even in future timelines that have yet to be realized. This non-local quality means that the ripples of karma can travel through the unseen layers of reality, manifesting in places and times beyond the scope of immediate perception. The consequences of a seemingly minor action today might unfold in the distant future, in another incarnation, or in a reality that is far removed from the one in which the action was originally taken. Understanding this principle challenges our conventional ideas about the immediacy of cause and effect, and opens up a deeper awareness of how our choices transcend the limits of time and space. In the context of karma, consciousness itself plays a pivotal role. It is not merely a passive observer of karmic events, but an active participant in the creation and dissemination of karmic imprints. Our consciousness, which exists beyond the confines of the physical body, serves as a carrier for these karmic seeds, planting them in the fertile soil of reality to sprout and unfold in various forms. These seeds are not confined to the individual alone, but extend outward into the collective consciousness, influencing not only the personal experiences of an individual, but also the broader field of awareness that encompasses all beings. This interconnectedness means that our personal karma is never isolated. It is constantly interwoven with the karma of others, contributing to the collective energy of the world. Each individual's choices, thoughts, and actions reverberate through the shared field of consciousness, affecting the trajectory of humanity as a whole. Therefore, karma is not simply a personal journey. It is a collective process that shapes the evolution of consciousness on a global and even universal scale. The relationship between past and future in the realm of karma is deeply intertwined, revealing the profound ways in which time is not linear, but cyclical and interconnected. Past life karma is not a static force, locked away in the distant past, but an active and ongoing influence that continues to shape the present and the future. These karmic imprints from previous lifetimes do not remain locked in the past, but weave themselves into the unfolding fabric of future experiences, creating a continuous, holographic influence on the events that unfold in one's life. The karmic lessons and unresolved actions from past lives are not left behind as we move forward into new experiences. Instead, they continue to echo through time, influencing the choices and challenges we encounter in the present moment. As we navigate our current lives, we are not simply acting within the boundaries of the present. We are carrying the unresolved karma of past lives, as well as the potential for new karmic seeds that will influence future realities. This interlacing of past, present, and future timelines creates a dynamic flow of energy that transcends the conventional understanding of time as a straight line, revealing the profound interconnected web of existence. This holographic nature of karma implies that each event, choice, and action in our lives is a microcosm of a larger, universal pattern. It suggests that the unfolding of our individual experiences is a reflection of the greater cosmic drama, and that every decision, whether conscious or unconscious, reverberates through the layers of time and space. Just as a hologram contains the whole within each of its parts, so too does each action and consequence contain within it the blueprint of the entire karmic cycle. The events that manifest in our lives are not isolated occurrences, but are part of a larger, interconnected whole, with each moment carrying the potential to influence not just the present, but the entire course of our soul's journey across lifetimes. This understanding encourages us to see the depth and richness of each moment, recognizing that our actions have far-reaching consequences that extend beyond what we can immediately see or understand. The paradox of karma lies in the way it simultaneously embraces both the concepts of free will and predestination, creating a dynamic tension between personal agency and the unfolding of destiny. If karma unfolds across multiple dimensions and timelines, how does free will fit into the equation? Are we simply puppets of fate, destined to follow a predetermined script? Or do we have the power to shape our own destiny through the choices we make? The truth lies in the balance between these two forces. Karma shapes the circumstances and challenges we encounter, while our free will determines how we respond to them. Each action we take has the potential to alter the course of our karmic path, creating new opportunities for growth, healing, or transformation. However, the effects of these actions are not always immediately visible, and the full scope of their impact may not become apparent until later in life or even in future lifetimes. This paradox invites us to embrace both the responsibility of our choices and the understanding that we are part of a much larger, interconnected pattern that stretches beyond the limits of our current awareness. The recognition of karma's non-local and timeless nature challenges our conventional views of reality and invites us to expand our understanding of existence. Rather than seeing ourselves as isolated individuals living in a single timeline, we begin to recognize that we are part of a vast, interconnected web of energy that spans across dimensions and lifetimes. Our actions, no matter how small, create ripples in the fabric of reality that extend far beyond our immediate experience, shaping not only our own destiny, but the destiny of the entire collective. Karma is not simply a personal experience, but a universal law that operates across the entirety of existence, linking all beings in a shared journey of evolution and growth. This understanding empowers us to take responsibility for our actions, knowing that they have far-reaching consequences that extend beyond the boundaries of time and space, influencing not only our own lives, but the lives of others and the world as a whole. Segment 3. The alchemical transformation of karmic energy. Karma operates as a transformative force, much like the ancient practice of alchemy. In spiritual terms, karma serves as the catalyst for an internal process that mirrors the alchemical transformation of base metals into gold. This process is not external, but deeply internal, requiring a change within the soul. The challenges and obstacles we encounter, which often seem burdensome or negative, are actually opportunities for deep spiritual refinement. Just as alchemy was believed to turn lead into gold, karma offers the possibility of transmuting our ignorance and suffering into wisdom and enlightenment. This process is a form of spiritual alchemy, where our negative experiences, habits, and emotions are the raw material that can be transformed into higher consciousness. Every moment of challenge and every act of suffering can be seen as an invitation to refine our inner state, moving from a place of ignorance to one of clarity and understanding. In alchemical terms, the lead represents the dense, heavy energy of ignorance and unenlightened states of being. This lead is not just physical, but symbolic of the parts of ourselves that are weighed down by negativity, attachment, and confusion. Ignorance, selfish desires, and unexamined patterns of behavior all contribute to this lead-like energy within us. Through the transmutational process, these negative aspects of our karma are subjected to a kind of inner heat, much like the alchemical crucible, where intense pressure or challenge is applied to transform them. The process of facing karmic challenges burns off the excess mental and emotional baggage that has accumulated over time. Just as alchemists believed that fire could purify and transmute metals, the karmic trials we endure function similarly, stripping away the unnecessary layers that conceal the true essence of our being. As we undergo these internal trials, we begin to refine our consciousness, just as the alchemist would refine metal in the crucible, until what remains is a purer, more enlightened version of ourselves. This internal alchemy is not passive. It requires active participation from the soul, a conscious decision to engage with the process rather than merely endure it. Just as an alchemist actively works with the elements to bring about transformation, the soul must engage with the karmic experiences it encounters. Passive endurance is not enough. Transformation requires conscious awareness, effort, and intention. The energy of karma is not something that can simply be suffered through without consequence or learning. Each karmic event presents an opportunity to refine the soul's energy by making conscious choices, facing discomfort with courage, and learning from the challenges that arise. To transform karma, one must acknowledge its presence, engage with it, and seek to understand the deeper lessons embedded within it. The more conscious we are of this process, the more effective and profound our transformation will be. As this refinement process continues, the karmic energy within us becomes increasingly purified. The more we refine the energy of our karma, the more we align ourselves with higher states of consciousness. Just as the alchemist's ultimate goal was to create gold, the soul's ultimate goal is to reach a state of wisdom and enlightenment. The more refined our karmic energy becomes, the closer we come to understanding the deeper truths of existence and divine law. This alignment with universal wisdom is not an abstract concept, but a living reality that can be experienced within the self. As the soul sheds the dross of negative karma, it becomes more attuned to the underlying harmony of the universe, unraveling the secrets of divine law as it progresses along its journey. Each karmic cycle or challenge acts as a closed system of energy that demands refinement. It is not a random event or an isolated incident, but a complete process in itself, with a beginning, middle, and an end. In this system, the energy of karma cannot simply dissipate or remain stagnant. It must be refined and transformed. This refinement process requires more than just passive suffering. It requires the soul to actively engage with the energies involved. In this sense, karma is a dynamic force, one that requires conscious participation in order to be transmuted into wisdom. The challenges we face are not merely obstacles. They are opportunities for growth, purification, and alignment with higher truths. Each cycle offers a new chance to transmute the base energies of our soul into something more refined and pure, and with each successful transformation, we draw closer to a state of perfect harmony with the universal order. The process of transforming karmic energy is not an easy or quick one. Just as alchemical processes were believed to take time, so too does the transformation of karma require patience, persistence, and inner strength. The karmic energy we work with is often deeply ingrained within us, tied to old habits, unresolved emotions, and patterns of thought that have been carried across lifetimes. This makes the alchemical process slow and gradual, requiring sustained effort over time. The more we refine our energy, the more we begin to experience moments of clarity and insight, moments in which we can perceive the deeper truths of the universe and our place within it. These moments of insight are the gold that results from the alchemical process of karma. Moments where we experience a deep connection to universal wisdom and understanding. As we continue to work with our karmic energy, we begin to perceive the interconnectedness of all things. Just as the alchemists saw the interconnectedness of all elements in the process of transformation, we begin to see how our own inner transformation is connected to the greater cosmic order. Our individual journey of karmic refinement is not isolated, but part of a larger, universal process. As we purify our own energy, we contribute to the purification of the collective consciousness, helping to shift the vibrational frequency of the world around us. This understanding of the interconnectedness of all things allows us to view our karmic challenges not as burdens or obstacles, but as essential steps in the larger alchemical process of spiritual evolution. The alchemical transformation of karmic energy is a process that is deeply personal, yet it is also a universal journey. Each soul undergoes its own unique process of refinement, but the goal is always the same: to transcend ignorance and suffering and to align with higher consciousness. Through this process, we are not only purifying our own karma, but contributing to the greater cosmic transformation. The more we engage with our karma consciously, the more we begin to realize the deeper truths of existence and the divine laws that govern the universe. Each karmic challenge is an invitation to purify and refine our inner world, moving ever closer to a state of spiritual enlightenment and alignment with universal wisdom. Segment 4: Karmic Resonance and Universal Archetypes. Archetypes are fundamental patterns that reside in the unconscious mind, acting as powerful forces that shape the way we experience the world. These archetypes are not just random aspects of the psyche, but are deeply embedded in the fabric of our existence, influencing how we perceive ourselves and others. They are the karmic blueprints through which life patterns, challenges, and experiences unfold. Each archetype represents a certain aspect of the human experience, and its presence in our psyche influences the way we relate to the world around us. These archetypes are not simply psychological constructs. They are spiritual forces that resonate deeply with the karmic energy that flows through us. As such, they play a crucial role in the manifestation of karma in our lives, acting as a bridge between the individual soul and the larger universal laws that govern existence. The soul's journey is not a solitary one. It is a dance between the archetypal forces that influence our every thought, feeling, and action. These forces are not external in the traditional sense, but are embedded within the very structure of our consciousness. As we move through life, karma manifests through the dynamic interactions between these archetypes, shaping the patterns and events we experience. The archetypes are like energetic forces that pull and push us in different directions, guiding us through the lessons we must learn and the obstacles we must overcome. When we encounter challenges in life, it is often because these archetypal forces are at play, creating situations that resonate with the karmic energy we need to process. The archetypes are not static. They evolve and shift as we grow, reflecting our soul's progression on its journey. The way these archetypes interact with each other determines the course of our karmic path and the nature of the experiences we attract. Karmic resonance refers to the vibrational frequency at which these archetypes resonate, influencing the patterns of life that repeat across different experiences. Each archetype has its own unique frequency, and when it is active within the soul, it sends out a certain vibrational energy that aligns with particular life circumstances. This resonance allows specific life patterns to repeat, not necessarily because they are predestined, but because the soul is drawn to experience certain lessons and challenges again and again. The resonance of these archetypes ensures that certain themes and issues continue to surface in different forms, providing the soul with opportunities to evolve and grow. When a particular archetype is not fully understood or integrated, its resonance may continue to create similar situations, drawing the soul into repetitive cycles of karmic experience. These cycles are not random, but are part of a larger, orchestrated pattern of growth and evolution, where each repetition offers the soul a chance to move closer to spiritual awareness and enlightenment. The energy of the archetypes can either serve as a guiding force or become a trap that locks the soul into a cycle of karmic entanglement. When an archetype is balanced, it becomes a doorway to spiritual liberation. This balance is achieved when the soul has integrated the lessons associated with that archetype, allowing it to express its highest potential. For example, the archetype of the warrior can represent strength, courage, and determination, but when imbalanced, it may manifest as aggression, pride, or unnecessary conflict. The mother archetype can represent nurturing, compassion, and unconditional love, but when out of balance, it may lead to overprotection, codependency, or the inability to set boundaries. In each case, the imbalanced expression of the archetype creates a karmic trap, where the individual becomes stuck in repetitive patterns of behavior that prevent spiritual growth. These traps are not meant to punish the soul, but to guide it back to a place of balance, where the archetype can be expressed in its purest form. The key to resolving karma lies in the conscious recognition and mastery of these universal archetypes. To resolve karmic energy, the soul must recognize the archetypes that are most influential in its life and work, to integrate them in a balanced way. This process involves bringing the unconscious archetypes into the conscious mind, where they can be examined, understood, and refined. Once an individual becomes aware of the archetypes at play in their life, they can begin to consciously shift the energy associated with them. This process transforms the chaotic and unconscious forces of the archetypes into powerful tools for spiritual growth. For instance, when the shadow archetype, representing the unconscious, repressed aspects of the self, is integrated, it no longer dominates the individual's actions or thoughts, but instead becomes a source of personal power and wisdom. By mastering these archetypes, the soul is able to break free from the repetitive karmic cycles and move toward a higher state of consciousness. As the soul works with these archetypes, it learns to recognize the patterns of behavior, thought, and emotion that have been ingrained over time. These patterns are not random, but are part of the soul's karmic blueprint. When the archetypes are allowed to express themselves without interference from the ego or the unconscious mind, they can lead the soul to profound insights and transformative experiences. For example, the sage archetype, when balanced, provides wisdom and clarity, helping the soul to see beyond the illusions of the material world. When imbalanced, however, it can manifest as a detached, cold, and aloof persona, disconnected from the heart's true wisdom. By working with this archetype consciously, the soul can transmute these imbalanced expressions into a deeper connection with universal truths, unlocking the wisdom that is always available within. The process of transforming karmic resonance involves learning to recognize when an archetype is influencing one's life in a negative or limiting way. When an individual becomes aware of the archetypal forces at play, they can begin to choose a different path, shifting their resonance to a more balanced and harmonious expression. This shift does not happen overnight, nor is it always easy, but it is through this conscious awareness and effort that the soul moves toward freedom from karmic cycles. Each time an individual confronts an archetype and consciously chooses to express it in a more balanced way, they take another step toward spiritual liberation. This is a process of gradual transformation, where the soul refines its understanding of the archetypes and learns to harness their energy in a constructive way. In this way, karma becomes less about punishment or fate, and more about the opportunity for growth and mastery. As the soul moves through its karmic journey, it encounters these archetypes repeatedly, each time with the chance to refine its expression of them. The resonance of these archetypes becomes less chaotic as the soul aligns with their higher frequencies, allowing them to guide the soul toward its true purpose. Over time, the karmic energy that once seemed like a burden becomes a source of power, wisdom, and spiritual insight as the soul moves closer to realizing its full potential. Segment 5. The quantum entanglement of collective karma. Karma is often perceived as a deeply personal experience, something that an individual carries through their actions, thoughts, and decisions. However, true understanding of karma requires us to recognize that it is not isolated to the individual alone. Every person's actions, choices, and thoughts are intricately woven into the collective fabric of humanity's shared experiences. This collective karma is not a mere sum of individual karmic patterns, but is a profound field that influences the course of human history and shapes the structure of societies. The idea that individual karma is interconnected with the collective suggests that no one exists in isolation. Our experiences, our pains, our triumphs, and our mistakes are part of a much larger, shared narrative. It is through the collective karmic field that humanity experiences a shared sense of destiny, where every individual's actions ripple outward, influencing the global community in ways that are often unseen but profoundly impactful. One way to understand the interconnection between individual karma and the collective is through the principle of entanglement. In this context, personal actions are not merely confined to the individual, but extend into a vast network of shared experiences. Just as particles in the quantum realm can become entangled, meaning that their actions influence one another regardless of distance, our actions, thoughts, and energy fields are also intertwined with the collective. This concept suggests that our personal karma is deeply influenced by the karma of the world around us. For example, the personal actions of an individual living in one part of the world can, through the invisible threads of collective karma, impact societal structures, values, and even the lived experiences of people in distant lands. This deep interconnection creates shared experiences, outcomes, and even patterns of suffering or joy that affect entire populations, cultures, and nations. As individuals, we are not isolated agents, but active participants in the larger collective experience. And understanding this connection allows us to see how personal actions reverberate across society. Collective karma manifests not only in personal interactions, but also in the larger structures of society, whether they are cultural, political, or economic. These systems are built on a foundation of shared beliefs, values, and historical experiences that have been passed down through generations. The way these societal structures operate is a direct reflection of the collective karma that has accumulated over time. For example, systems of injustice, inequality, and oppression are not simply the result of individual actions, but are expressions of collective karma that have been sustained and reinforced over centuries. Similarly, cultures of compassion, creativity, and innovation are expressions of positive collective karma that have shaped the course of human development. In many ways, these systems become self-perpetuating, with each generation contributing to the patterns of thought, behavior, and action that define the collective experience. By understanding how these larger karmic systems operate, individuals can begin to navigate them with greater awareness, recognizing that their actions and choices are not just personal, but also contribute to the broader landscape of human existence. The healing of collective karma is a complex and multifaceted process, one that requires more than just individual transformation. While personal change is important, it is only a small part of the larger healing process. To truly heal collective karma, humanity must undergo a global awakening to the interconnectedness of all beings. This awakening involves a shift in consciousness, a realization that the fate of the individual is inextricably linked to the fate of the collective. As long as individuals continue to view their actions in isolation, they will continue to contribute to the perpetuation of harmful karmic patterns that affect society as a whole. True healing requires a shift away from egocentric thinking and toward a more holistic, interconnected view of existence. This shift is not limited to the realm of personal growth, but extends to the collective consciousness, where the actions and choices of one person can be seen as deeply entwined with the well-being of others. When humanity begins to understand that the pain and suffering of others is not separate from their own, it becomes possible to address the root causes of collective karma and begin the process of healing. Disrupting inherited patterns of thought, culture, and governance is a crucial step in shifting the collective karmic field. These patterns are not accidental. They are deeply embedded in the cultural, political, and economic systems that govern human societies. They are the result of centuries of karmic accumulation, passed down from one generation to the next. Many of these inherited patterns are toxic, rooted in injustice, inequality, and divisiveness, and they continue to perpetuate cycles of suffering for entire populations. In order to heal collective karma, humanity must challenge and disrupt these inherited patterns. This process involves questioning the deeply held beliefs and structures that have shaped human society for centuries. It requires a radical shift in how we view power, privilege, and justice. Only by dismantling the systems that perpetuate harm and inequality can humanity begin to realign itself with higher principles that are based on love, compassion, equality, and cosmic justice. This realignment requires the collective will to transform existing systems of governance, education, and culture into structures that serve the highest good of all beings, rather than the interests of a few. Shifting the collective karmic field is not an easy task, and it requires the active participation of individuals, communities, and nations. It requires a deep understanding of the ways in which personal actions and collective systems are interlinked. Each individual has a role to play in this process, whether through conscious choices, activism, or simply by embodying the principles of compassion and justice in their daily lives. While individual efforts are crucial, they must be part of a larger movement that encompasses the global community. This global awakening is the key to transforming the karmic field and creating a world that is aligned with higher spiritual principles. As individuals awaken to the interconnectedness of all beings, they begin to act with greater awareness and intention, choosing to contribute to the collective good rather than perpetuating harmful karmic patterns. In this way, personal healing and collective healing go hand in hand, creating a more harmonious and just world for all. The interconnectedness of individual and collective karma is a profound and complex concept that challenges traditional views of causality and responsibility. It asks us to consider the far-reaching consequences of our actions, not just for ourselves, but for the world as a whole. It invites us to see the suffering and joy of others as a reflection of our own, to recognize that we are all part of a greater web of existence, As we shift our perspective and begin to understand the collective karmic field, we can begin to heal the wounds of the past and move toward a future that is aligned with higher principles of justice, compassion, and wisdom. This process requires both personal and collective effort, as well as a willingness to challenge inherited patterns and systems of thought that no longer serve the greater good. Only through this transformation can humanity break free from the cycles of suffering and create a world where all beings can thrive. Segment 6. Karmic Shadows. The unconscious forces shaping our destiny. Karmic shadows are the unacknowledged or unresolved aspects of ourselves that reside deep within our unconscious mind. These hidden parts of the self exert a powerful influence over our actions, thoughts, and decisions, often without us being fully aware of their presence. They are like unseen forces that shape the trajectory of our lives, often driving us towards certain behaviors or reactions that we don't fully understand. These karmic shadows are born from experiences that have not been fully processed or healed, whether from past lives or unresolved events in early childhood. As we move through life, we unconsciously carry these shadows with us, and they manifest in our daily choices and interactions. Their influence can be subtle or overt, but it always colors our experiences in ways that can feel out of our control. What makes these shadows particularly challenging is that they often operate below the surface of conscious awareness, making it difficult for us to recognize their presence and understand how they are shaping our lives. These karmic shadows can significantly affect our relationships, as they tend to repeat unresolved patterns from the past. Often, we find ourselves attracted to or entangled in situations or relationships that mirror unresolved conflicts, traumas, or emotional wounds from earlier experiences. These shadows may draw us into destructive cycles that keep us stuck in patterns of behavior we can't seem to break free from. For example, someone who grew up with feelings of neglect or abandonment might unconsciously find themselves in relationships where these same themes of neglect and abandonment resurface. The karmic shadow at work here is the unresolved emotional pain from the past, which continuously shapes and attracts similar circumstances until the pattern is consciously recognized and addressed. The challenge of these shadows is that they are rarely examined or even acknowledged, and they often dictate our choices in ways that seem out of our control. Without awareness, we are bound to repeat these karmic cycles, playing out the same dramas over and over again. The process of shadow integration is an essential part of resolving these karmic patterns. To integrate the shadow is to confront and embrace the parts of ourselves that we have been avoiding or rejecting. These are the parts of us that we often label as negative or undesirable, such as our anger, jealousy, insecurity, or shame. When we resist or deny these aspects of ourselves, they remain in the unconscious, exerting their influence without our understanding. However, when we bring these hidden forces into the light of consciousness, we begin to reclaim our power and transform them. Shadow integration is not about eliminating these aspects of ourselves, but about understanding them, accepting them, and learning to work with them in a healthy way. It is through this process that we can begin to free ourselves from the unconscious grip of our karmic shadows and break free from the cycles that have kept us stuck. Recognizing the karmic influence of the shadow is a crucial step in the process of healing and transformation. By bringing awareness to these unconscious forces, we take away their power to control us. When we can see the ways in which our shadows have influenced our thoughts, decisions, and relationships. We gain the ability to make conscious choices instead of being driven by unconscious patterns. The key to disempowering the shadow is not to fight against it or to repress it, but to acknowledge it with compassion and understanding. By doing so, we create space for new ways of being and acting that are not governed by the unconscious forces of the past. This recognition allows us to move beyond the limitations imposed by our karmic shadows and to step into a more empowered state of consciousness where we can make decisions from a place of clarity and self-awareness. True karmic freedom is achieved when we learn to live in harmony with our shadows. This means recognizing that the shadows are not inherently bad or evil, but rather they are parts of ourselves that require healing and integration. When we resist our shadows, they only gain strength and control over us. However, when we embrace them as aspects of our wholeness and work with them, they become powerful tools for growth and transformation. The karmic shadow, once integrated, can become a source of insight and wisdom, guiding us toward deeper self-awareness and spiritual maturity. For example, someone who has struggled with feelings of anger might, through shadow integration, learn to channel that energy in constructive ways, perhaps through creative expression, activism, or standing up for themselves in healthy ways. Every action, no matter how small, fits into the grand design, contributing to the movement and evolution of all things. Our understanding of karma is limited by our human perspective, but this limitation does not diminish the importance or power of this cosmic law. One of the most profound aspects of the divine algorithm is that it allows for free will within its structure. While the algorithm is designed to maintain balance, it does not negate our ability to make choices. In fact, free will is an integral part of the divine design. We are not merely passive participants in the cosmic flow. We are active agents within the system. This means that we have the power to shape our karmic path through our choices, and each decision we make is both a reflection of our free will and an expression of the divine order. The freedom to choose is not a contradiction to the divine algorithm, but is an essential aspect of it. It is through our choices that we contribute to the greater cosmic balance. The algorithm ensures that regardless of what choices we make, there will always be an outcome, and this outcome will either bring us closer to or further away from alignment with the universal principles of balance and harmony. When we align ourselves with the divine algorithm, we tap into a deeper understanding of the universe, or we begin to see that karma is not something to fear or resist, but a sacred tool designed for our soul's evolution. This realization transforms the way we engage with life. Instead of viewing karma as something external to us, something that happens to us, we begin to see it as an integral part of our spiritual journey. Karma, in this sense, becomes a guide rather than a burden. It is a force that helps us navigate the complexities of existence, helping us to understand that each choice, each action, and each thought is connected to the greater web of life. When we align with the divine algorithm, we no longer feel as if we are at the mercy of fate, but rather we recognize that we are co-creators of our destiny. By understanding karma as a tool for growth, we begin to see every challenge and every blessing as an opportunity to evolve and align more deeply with the universal laws of balance. This understanding allows us to approach life with a sense of trust and acceptance, knowing that the divine algorithm is always in operation, guiding us toward our highest potential. The algorithm is not about avoiding difficulty or seeking perfection, but about understanding that every experience serves a purpose in the grand design. Whether it is a moment of joy or a moment of hardship, both are part of the sacred process that helps us evolve. When we stop resisting the flow of karma and start working with it, we move more gracefully through life, becoming more attuned to the underlying rhythm of the universe. We begin to understand that karma is not something to escape, but something to embrace. For it is through the divine algorithm that we come to know our true nature and our place within the greater cosmic order. Ultimately, karma, as the divine algorithm, offers a roadmap for the soul's journey. It is a blueprint that guides us through the various stages of spiritual growth, helping us to refine our character, deepen our wisdom, and align with the universal principles of love, balance, and harmony. By understanding this, we are empowered to live consciously, to make choices that reflect our highest values, and to navigate the complexities of existence with clarity and purpose. The divine algorithm is not a distant, impersonal force, but a living, breathing system that is always with us, guiding us toward our highest potential. Through karma, we are given the chance to align ourselves with the sacred flow of the universe and contribute to the ongoing evolution of the cosmos. In this way, the very force that once held them back becomes a source of empowerment and strength. The key to transforming the shadow into a tool for transformation is through conscious engagement, self-compassion, and a willingness to confront the darker aspects of the self. In many ways, the integration of the karmic shadow is a process of alchemy within the self. It is about taking the lead of unconscious, unresolved emotional wounds and transforming it into the gold of wisdom, understanding, and personal power. This inner transformation requires patience and courage, as we are asked to confront parts of ourselves that we have long ignored or denied. The work of shadow integration is not easy, but it is deeply rewarding, as it leads to greater self-awareness, emotional freedom, and spiritual growth. By integrating our karmic shadows, we free ourselves from the unconscious forces that have kept us locked in repetitive patterns of suffering and limitation, and we open the door to a life that is more aligned with our true essence. Ultimately, the process of working with the karmic shadow is an ongoing journey. As we continue to grow and evolve, new shadows may emerge, and new aspects of ourselves may need to be integrated. This process of continual self-exploration and healing allows us to move through life with greater authenticity, compassion, and understanding. When we no longer fear or reject our shadows, we can approach life with a sense of wholeness, knowing that we are not defined by our past or our pain, but by our ability to transform and grow. In this way, the karmic shadow becomes not a force of destruction, but a powerful ally in our journey towards spiritual awakening and self-realization. Through the process of shadow integration, we unlock the potential for deep healing, liberation, and personal transformation, ultimately allowing us to live a life that is more in alignment with our highest purpose. Segment 7. The Spiral of Time. How karmic lessons cycle and evolve. Karma operates in a cyclical way, but this cycle is not one of repetition in the traditional sense. It is more like a spiral that continually evolves, bringing us back to certain lessons and challenges, yet each time at a different point in our spiritual growth. Unlike a straight line, where everything would be fixed and unchanging, the spiral allows for progress, refinement, and deeper understanding. As we journey through life, karmic lessons revisit us at different stages, each time offering us the opportunity to engage with them from a new perspective. These lessons are not presented in the same way every time. Rather, they evolve, reflecting our growing understanding of ourselves and the world around us. With each cycle, we are given the chance to look at a situation, person, or experience with more wisdom and insight than before, allowing us to learn and grow more deeply. As we move through the spiral, each cycle of karma serves as a checkpoint in our spiritual development. These checkpoints are not simply a rehashing of old lessons, but moments of growth, where we must refine and expand our understanding. The karma we experience is not merely a repetition of past events, but an invitation to elevate our consciousness and refine our approach to life. This cyclical process is essential to our evolution, as it provides the structure and opportunities needed to confront our limitations and transcend them. It's almost as if the universe offers us recurring opportunities to rise to the challenge again and again, each time with more clarity and awareness, pushing us further along on our path of personal and spiritual growth. In the spiral of time, karma is accumulative rather than repetitive. As we ascend this spiral, each cycle of karma brings with it new layers of understanding and integration. Our past lessons, far from being simply revisited, are reworked in a way that adds depth and complexity. The more we learn from each cycle, the more refined and integrated our understanding becomes. These layers of understanding build on each other like the rings of a tree trunk that reflect its age and growth. As we encounter familiar karmic patterns, they may initially seem like the same old challenges, but the depth of our engagement with them deepens over time. Each experience adds a new dimension to our ability to respond, shifting us from a place of unconscious reactivity to one of conscious choice. In this way, karma helps to shape us not just through its repetition, but through its cumulative effect on our consciousness, pushing us toward a higher, more enlightened state. One of the most significant aspects of the spiral of time is that it indicates that our actions and decisions are not merely revisiting old karma, but are evolving towards something greater. Each action we take, each choice we make, is not just another loop around an old pattern, but is an opportunity to evolve and move forward. As we grow and gain wisdom from previous lessons, our approach to life becomes increasingly conscious and deliberate. Our actions become more aligned with higher states of being, and we begin to transcend the limitations of past cycles. The spiral doesn't trap us in a never-ending loop of repeating the same mistakes. Instead, it offers us a way to break free from old patterns, allowing us to rise above them and approach life from a higher perspective. The lessons may be similar in nature, but our responses to them grow and change, reflecting our deeper connection to the spiritual truths we are meant to learn. Every time we return to a lesson, there is an opportunity for deeper integration and liberation. Each revisiting of a past lesson is not just a chance to repeat the same experience, but a moment of growth where we can transcend the limitations of who we once were. This process allows us to move past old karmic entanglements and free ourselves from the patterns that once held us back. As we cycle back through old lessons, we gain more wisdom, more compassion, and a greater sense of inner peace. The spiral of time reveals that we are not stuck in a loop, but are in fact evolving and growing layer by layer. Each new encounter with past lessons brings us closer to understanding our true essence, and with this understanding comes liberation. The more we integrate and resolve past karmic lessons, the more we are able to step into the fullness of our potential and live in alignment with our higher purpose. This cyclical nature of karma allows us to see that no lesson is wasted. No experience is without value. Even if it feels like we are revisiting a challenge or a struggle, the spiral assures us that we are moving forward. Life is not about avoiding hardship, but about learning from it and using those lessons to evolve into a more enlightened version of ourselves. Every time we return to a karmic lesson, it serves as an opportunity to release old baggage and ascend to a higher level of awareness and understanding. The spiral of time, in its cyclical nature, offers a path of continuous growth, evolution, and transcendence, always inviting us to rise above past limitations and move towards a more enlightened state of being. In this way, the spiral is not just a pattern of repetition, but a dynamic force for our continual expansion and transformation. Segment 8, the divine algorithm, understanding karma as the blueprint of the cosmos. Karma is not a random force or an arbitrary happening in the universe. It is a highly organized and intentional system, a divine algorithm that underpins the structure of all existence. This algorithm operates with precision, ensuring that the laws of karma are consistent and unwavering. Just as mathematical equations follow specific rules to generate results, karma too follows a divine order that is designed to maintain balance and harmony throughout the universe. Every action, thought, and decision we make is part of this greater cosmic framework. The algorithm itself is not about punishment or reward, but about maintaining the universal equilibrium that governs the unfolding of all things. It is a system that works in tandem with the inherent laws of the universe, ensuring that all beings evolve in alignment with these higher principles. The divine algorithm is not static. It is a dynamic process that reflects the interplay between free will and divine law. Our individual actions are not isolated. They ripple out and interact with the greater web of life, contributing to the overall balance. When we act, we create ripples that extend beyond the immediate effects, sometimes in ways we may not be able to directly perceive. Yet every action we take follows a predictable pattern, where our choices are both the cause and effect within the larger structure of cosmic law. Karma, therefore, is not a system of rewards and punishments, but rather a law of action and reaction that ensures equilibrium. The divine algorithm allows us the freedom to make choices, but it also ensures that every choice we make carries with it an inherent consequence. This system of cause and effect is not something imposed on us. It is an essential part of the larger structure that keeps the cosmos functioning in perfect harmony. As we engage with karma, we begin to realize that this divine algorithm extends far beyond human comprehension. While we can understand parts of it, the full scope of its operation is beyond our immediate grasp. Just as we can observe the surface of the ocean, but cannot fully understand its depths, so too is our understanding of karma limited. This is not to say that we are helpless in the face of karma, but rather that the universe operates with an intricacy and vastness that we may never fully understand. The divine algorithm is vast and complex, shaping not only our personal lives, but also the entire course of the cosmos. In conclusion, the journey through the depths of karma reveals a complex, interconnected web that governs our spiritual evolution. From the hidden geometry of karma to the divine algorithm shaping the cosmos, each segment uncovers a layer of understanding that leads us to a deeper connection with ourselves and the universe. We have explored how our actions ripple through dimensions, how karmic imprints shape our lives, and how the cyclical nature of karma allows us to grow and transform. By recognizing the hidden forces at play within our unconscious and collective fields, we come to understand that karma is not a mere system of cause and effect, but a profound tool for our soul's evolution. Now it's your turn. If you like this content, you're tapping into the resonance of deeper knowledge. Every click amplifies the wisdom you're ready to receive. If you share it, you're contributing to the collective shift, spreading this understanding to those ready to awaken. And if you subscribe, you align yourself with a continuous flow of transformative wisdom, ensuring that this journey of spiritual growth continues to unfold. Like, share, and subscribe, and let the energy of karmic evolution flow through your choices.